Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. We've got the official announcement of Wipe from BSG. It's not a guess, it's no content creator making up a date like we like to do. This is actually from BSG. Wipe is tonight as of making this video, or the morning of the 27th, kind of depending on where you live on the planet. Caveat to this is Arena will not be wiping. There will be no wipe with Arena, so whatever progression you have there will carry through. So here's the tweet. Not much information. They just say tomorrow, December 27th, 7 a.m. GMT, 2 a.m. EST. They're planning to install patch 14.0. Patch is going to take 6 hours, maybe extend if required. The game will not be accessible during this period of time. So that means they're going to shut servers off. Let me read from my notes over here so I can get the times right. That is, these times adjusted for everybody's time zones is 11 p.m. PST, so tonight 11 p.m., 2 a.m. EST, 7 a.m. GMT, or 1800/6 p.m. in Sydney. Figure, like they said, about 6 hours for downtime, but that can be extended. Rarely does it come right back up at 6 hours. Sometimes it's like 15 minutes late. Sometimes it's like 3 hours late. We've seen the gambit on that. So that means if all goes well, servers will be back up around 5 a.m. PST, 8 a.m. EST, 2 p.m. GMT, and 2 a.m. in Sydney on the 28th, which is ironically Thursday for the time travelers down under. They really do fit that whole thing of time traveling because they wipe on a different day than the rest of us. Now, this wipe is going to be massive. One could argue it's the biggest we've ever had in Tarkov, at least since the flea market and reserve was added and the hideout back in 2019. We don't have any patch notes yet. We don't usually get those till the servers go down, and even then they might be preliminary, and we may not get final ones until the servers come back up. It just remains to be seen, and even then the patch notes don't have everything in them because BSG, and they like to surprise us. But there is a bunch of stuff I can talk about. Here's some of the high points, at least for content that I'm looking forward to, and none of these even include the myriad of technical updates that are coming. So we're getting a new recoil system, and it's completely overhauled. This isn't like in the past where they just adjust a couple of dials and the mechanics are the same. It's just they're higher or lower. This is a complete rework. The system is going to operate completely differently. So that's a pretty big deal. Also, we're getting a body armor rework. Currently, body armor is like a magic force field that covers a specific hitbox. Doesn't matter what the armor looks like, what its shape is, what its size is, any of that. That all changes. Going forward, body armor is going to only protect the parts that it actually covers. So smaller body armor that's skinny isn't going to protect the sides. And with the advanced hitboxes and armor plates and the various systems, it's going to get about 5 times more complex than it already is. After this, we have vaulting. Which a lot of people in the ETSs, I guess, kind of poo-pooed on this and didn't think it was that big of a deal. I think everybody's dead wrong about that. Vaulting and climbing is going to change how we all get around the maps, the vast majority of us. Guys like Willer Z and stuff, they're a different breed of people. That the effect of vaulting is minimal on them. But especially at lower levels, this is going to allow you to get into places you couldn't jump or you struggled with. It's going to close the skill gap on stuff. You might not be able to do it as quickly as just free jumping, but at least you'll be able to get up on top of boxes, getting up on top of things that you couldn't before because strength or weight limited you. After that, we've got new things like a new boss, Kollontai, on streets, along with the BTR taxi. Not a lot of information about them yet, just a picture, but they're going to be there. There's also going to be a new map called Ground Zero, and this is a starter map. We don't know if that's going to be maxed at level 15 or 20. BSG hadn't really decided yet, but it's, in my mind, it makes sense that it's going to cap at level 15, right when you unlock the flea market, and you won't be able to get back in that map after you're level 15. So a starter-friendly area. We're also going to get Lightkeeper services, which that might not matter to a lot of folks because they don't unlock him, but instead of just being a quest giver, he's going to have services that he offers. Crazy things like being able to buy protection from the rogues or even from the cultists. It's going to be crazy to see how that all kind of works out and functions properly. Then we're going to get achievements, which that's tangential to a lot of stuff, but people really like them. I'm excited for them. It's going to be cool to have, and a new feature along with some new UI elements. And then the last thing isn't the last thing, it's just the last thing I'm going to bring up is a bunch of new weapons. The big one for me being the RPD, which is a 7.62x39 belt-fed machine gun. Kollontai has it. You can see him holding it. Now, I don't know if the RPD is only going to be with him like the PKP, PKM is with Kaban. Like, it's the only place you can get it. I don't know if that's how they're going to do the RPD or not, but either way, I'm eager to get my hands on it and give it a try. Now, while all of these changes are exciting, and I'm looking forward to them, this is a lot of core functions to change all at the same time. Excluding the fact that even if each of these individually works flawlessly with no bugs, which we know that's not going to happen, the wipe is going to be a balanced shit show. Everything from bullet stats and availability, attachments, armor durability, and then all the barters that go with those things have been balanced to the existing systems over the previous years. All of that goes out the window now. These changes upend all of that balancing in so many different ways, it's impossible to put it into one video until we actually get it experienced on a live server with a bunch of people. Things like there's armor that used to be worthless that is going to be amazing now, and vice versa. Armor that's amazing that's going to be worthless just because of how much coverage they have. There's going to be bullets that you would have never considered using, you've never looked at before, that might be the meta bullet and the best to run. Guns that were held back by recoil or the ammo they had might now be overpowered. Everybody needs to keep that in mind going into tomorrow. I'm eager to get all these systems. I want to get my hands on them. I want to do my best to help balance them out if I can, poke the holes in them, find the problems, and just let BSG know. But I think it's going to be kind of a rough ride for the community here for a couple of months. But now for Arena, let's talk about that and why it not wiping is such a concern for me. First off, let me get the ground base here for this. I don't believe the Arena we're playing or shown in the last couple of weeks is the intended state. Right now, it's nothing more than a stress test of the basic matchmaking system and maybe the ranking system. The more complex matchmaking system based on gear score and some of the other systems aren't even turned on or functioning. And without those, it's not a viable game. Arena not wiping with the main game tells me that those systems are just not ready to test yet, or they haven't moved past testing of the other systems. And that is before we even discuss anything to do with linking of the accounts that they want to do. Whereas your character in Arena is the same as the one in your main game. Right now, as it stands, I got, I don't know, 30, 40 hours out of Arena, and it was probably only that much because I was in the first wave and I didn't play every match matched up against people way outgearing me, which is pretty much what everybody who comes in new is facing because of how the matchmaking system is set up right now. It ignores gear score or what level of tier kits you have and only focuses on your ranked points, your ARP. So you can have people with tier 5 kits fighting people with tier 1 kits potentially. So right now, as Arena sits, it probably won't get played by folks all that much because it's just not that much fun. And until they turn on some of these other systems or square away the matchmaking, that's not going to change. So no wipe for Arena with the main game indicates to me that they aren't ready for those systems and they potentially missed a huge deadline inside the company. I don't know when BSG's deadlines are, but I find it hard to believe that they spent all of this money over the last 6 months or even year, millions of dollars, advertising and doing events for Arena and getting it spooled up to not have it ready to release on what might be the biggest wipe in Tarkov's history. The wipe is what brings everybody back, what makes everybody interested. It's everywhere when wipe happens. And that very quickly falls off. It only takes anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks for that to get cut in half, and then it just continues from there. So not being ready for wipe with Arena is scary bad news in my mind. Now, I could be wrong. I'm just kind of reading tea leaves here. That BSG could have plans. This could be all part of it. This is just the indications that I see looking at it from the outside. So we're just gonna have to wait and see what the next few weeks of Arena bring. Them not wiping Arena with the game doesn't mean they can't wipe it later and then link the accounts. It's not that big of a deal, I don't think, that your Arena account, your Arena character is going to be higher level than somebody who's just starting off with Arena. It's going to matter a little bit, but I don't think it's a huge deal, especially considering they said they want to include that factor in part of the matchmaking, if they can actually do that or not. So it is still a possibility that they wipe in 3 weeks or 2 weeks or whatever, and then we get the link, but we're just not going to know for a while probably. But I don't see myself tuning back into Arena and playing it all that much unless they get some more game modes added, they change the matchmaking, and they get this gear score progression system figured out. I really do hope I'm wrong. Arena has so much potential. It has such a good core to it. I think it can be a fantastic addition to esports, but the gaming community as a whole. It's not being a copycat of a lot of these other games, and it's going to be its own thing, and I think that's a good thing. But it does have a long ways to go. Now I'm going to be live first thing in the morning for the wipe. I try to get on about 15-20 minutes before 6 hours is up and just hang out and wait. We'll probably play some other games while we're waiting for the launcher to start its update, but then we'll roll right into it. So don't hesitate to come by, ask all the questions you want. I love answering your guys' questions about the game best as I can. Avoid you from making the mistakes that I do or finding the bugs that we run into early so that your time doesn't get wasted. That's probably one of the the best things I can do as a content creator for you guys. So don't hesitate to come say hi and ask questions as I struggle through the first couple of days of the wipe. But we'll close it up like I always do. We'll talk about my music. I've got a bunch of music. It's free. Links down in the description. Low Wave Records does a fantastic job of making good music. It's free, but it's good. And even though it's free, it still supports me as a content creator. So you listening to it is just another way you get something and I get something. It's a great trade. It's also for content creators to use in their content free of charge. No DMC takedowns or copyright strikes on YouTube or Twitch. We don't do that. We made it for the community. All we ask is you attribute us so people know where to find it if they like it. And that's what we made it for, is the community. So please use it and let me know what songs you like. But we'll wrap it up there. I appreciate you guys watching as always. Get some sleep. I know I'm going to try to. And I wish you the best of luck in the new wipe.